I gave you this equation and I asked you to solve for x, could you find me at least one value of x that I could plug into that equation and make it true? What's one number I could put in for x? Give me one. -5 would work. There is another. What's another? And 5. So -5 and 5 would be our answer. Because when we put a negative inside of an absolute value, it turns it positive. We put a positive inside of an absolute value, it keeps it in. All right, so these can get a little bit more complicated if we start adding other stuff inside of the absolute values. So this one you probably want to put in your notes. All right, so have a look at that. And I'm looking for, and I'm going to go ahead, spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you there are 2 answers to this, or 2 solutions. Anybody want to give me a solution? What's one? -5. Let me try that. So if I go -5 plus 2 equals 7. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Thank you. Are you okay with making mistakes and learning from them? Sweet. Super common mistake. Absolute values do make things positive, but only once you get a single number inside of them. So if I were going to do this problem right here, I would actually have to add the -5 and the 2 first before I take the absolute value. You see what I'm saying? All right, so you made that mistake. You got it out of the way. You don't have to worry about ever making it again. Congratulations. All right, so do you want to try again? -9. Let's try the -9. So -9 plus 2 is -7. Aha! Now it works, doesn't it? All right, so -9 is one of our solutions. Anybody want to guess another one? You guys are on it today. What do you think? Let's try 5. 5 plus 2 equals 7. Yeah, absolute value of 7 equals 7. Totally. So -9 and 5. All right, now that can be tricky to think through it. And I'm going to tell you that when we get to some more complicated examples where there's also a number in front of the x, the coefficient here, they get much more complicated. And it's going to be much more difficult for you to guess and figure out what the answer is. So let me show you a process that you can use anytime you have an absolute value equation. I'm going to start by showing you the process with this. All right, I know that a lot of you could think through it and come up with these 2 answers without showing work. Okay, but you need to be able to show your work, right? I'm sure Miss Unger tells you guys that too, doesn't she? Got to show your work, got to show your work. All right, so here's the process. When we have an absolute value, we're going to actually create 2 equations from this. I'm going to split it and make 2 equations. The first equation is going to be exactly the same as my original, but I'm going to leave off the absolute values. So x plus 2 equals 7. I don't have any seats at the moment, but we will soon. So. All right, so the first equation stays the same. Nothing changes in here. The second equation stays almost the same, but the number on the other side of the equal sign flips its sign. The 7 is going to become a -7. So that would give us x plus 2 equals -7. So you're going to end up with 2 versions of your equation. One's got a +7 and one's got a -7. Okay. Do you guys remember seeing this? It's been a while. All right, well, so let's solve these 2 equations. If I were going to solve this, I need to get rid of this +2, so I go -2 on both sides. These would cancel, and I'd get x equals 7 minus 2 is 5. And this one over here, I would solve it by subtracting 2 from both sides. These would cancel. This time I've got -7 minus 2, which is -9. And those are the exact same answers that we came up with when we were just thinking through it a minute ago. All right, so the process is split it up into 2 equations. The first one looks exactly the same. The second one, just flip the sign on the other side. Let me show you one that I'm going to guess most people would not be able to think their way through. Most people would probably have to use the process on this. Definitely want to get this one in your notes. Okay? I put it straight in your packet. If you don't have your packet with you, write it down, get it in your packet later. So we're going to go 2x minus 6 in our absolute value equal to, what do we want to do? Let's go 1. Anybody got an answer for me without doing the process? It's a little trickier to think through, right? What is it? What'd you come up with? Oh, it's one of them. Nice. Can you find the other one? No. Good guess, though. All right. All right. I'm impressed. All right. Well, let's do the process, right? The process will work 100% of the time. So we're going to split this up. We're going to create 2 equations. Now, super common mistake coming up here. Remember, we talked about this just a second ago. This was the mistake that you made a second. What's your name? Caleb. All right. So Caleb reminded us that absolute values only turn something positive if it's the only thing in there. So when we rewrite this, that is going to stay a -6. A lot of times people want to turn it into a +6 because they're like, oh, it came out of an absolute value. It's got to be positive, right? But you're not going to do that because you've learned from your mistake. So that stays the same. No absolute value, though. We're going to make another version of it. The 2x minus 6 is still the same. The only thing that changes is the sign on this one. Instead of a positive one, it's going to become a negative one. And now we got 2 equations to solve. So use your algebra skills and solve those 2 equations for me. So there's your 3.5 that you came up with. You need an eraser? There's a whole box of eraser. Those things you put on the end of your pencil. They're right back underneath the whole basket. All right, some of you probably beat me to it, but and you may still be working. But when you finish that up, check your answers. I know some people prefer decimals. This would be your answers as decimals. How are we feeling about that, guys? Who's got questions? Questions? All right. This is Unger's students. Are you guys feeling pretty good about that? Yeah. You think you got it? All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate your participation. Great mistake. Well done. All right. You guys can go ahead and head back to Miss Unger's room. All right. Thanks for being here.